Where is the sport actually going, right? Actually moving away from fans, just getting in all glamour, right? And at the end of the day, we're just forgetting that it's sport at the heart of it. I think that somewhere, will it be too late, right, before they realize where they've actually gone, or will they course correct in the middle? We don't know.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this amazing episode of the Right Now Show. Today is 26th of October. We are 2 days after the USGP, and still the excitement from that race is running in my veins. It was very memorable. What did you think about the race?
Much before the race, right, there's something that actually happened, which is Max Verstappen won his championship, right? I mean, that was pretty much the onset, or this that was pretty much the mood that we came to the race with,
Hmm.
which is that Max is already a champion. So particularly there was not really something to really look forward to, right? Saying that, yeah, is there going to be a championship rivalry? Is he going to win the championship? No, but we definitely expected an amazing race, and I think it kind of delivered. We all thought that USGP might be kind of just some boring race, but it sure delivered because of all of the off-track action of how many people went out, right? You had Alonso flying up, pretty much, yeah. I think it was a strange race, right? But it was a good race.
Agreed. I mean, we didn't expect that in dry conditions we would see so many incidents, especially the Alonso one. It was almost like what Mark Webber did back in, I think, 2010, 2011, where he just did like a reverse somersault. Thank God Alonso's car didn't do that and he was safe, and he managed to finish seventh. Can you believe it? That was crazy. Uh, and yeah, I mean, what a crazy race. Pretty good compared to, the previous few races. Again, the last race also at Japan, where Max finally won championship in a very anticlimactic fashion, I would say, because uh, last lap Charles muffed it up, and he got a 5 seconds penalty. Yeah, I mean, the celebrations were dampened, and I'm sure that Red Bull wanted to celebrate like crazy in this race. But again, their owner, Dieter Mateschitz, he passed away just before this race, so that couldn't happen again. But all in all, Red Bull are constructor championships winner, and also Max Verstappen is WDC winner. So yeah, thoughts.
Amazing. I think after such a long time, right, we had Red Bull coming on. So there was the Mercedes era, and I don't know if we can call it off, saying, hey, Mercedes era is done and Red Bull era starts from here. But I think it pretty much looks like it, right? Red Bull are way, way far from the rest of the field, right? But the sheer amount of dominance that they had in this whole stupid season, right? I call it stupid because, again, we're getting back to the same place because of one team really dominating. But I mean, you got to commend their dominance. Adrian Newey, what a powerful car that he's given the Red Bull team to really work with. Uh, but I think if with such a powerful car, Max would have not won, right? It would have been such a shame because last year itself, he won under obviously different circumstances, but with a less powerful car, Mercedes being the most powerful car, still Max pulled it off. So yeah, I mean, no surprises. Sure, absolute, brutal, ruthless dominance by Red Bull. And it's a one man show at the end of the day. But we have to congratulate him. It was such an easy sail through. It was such a shame that no one actually could even come near them, right? They're literally flying to Mars, and we are still pretty much orbiting the Earth, the rest of the teams.
Yeah, I think the dominance is very, very strong right now. And I think what Adrian Newey and his team have done is that, although their engine is performing kind of similar to Red Bull, except the straight line speed. Sorry, very similar to the Ferrari, except the straight line speed. I mean, if you take the speed of Red Bull versus Ferrari over one lap, they're very close. But what happens during a race at a longer stretch is the tire deg, and the F75 is having insane amount of deg, whereas the Red Bull RB18 is some other level itself right now. And Max Verstappen is able to pull, what Hamilton used to do at one time, that fastest lap after fastest lap. Not in the literal sense, but he's able to, increase that gap again and again, and he's not having any problems in, you know, cruising through the field and overtaking the whoever is the first guy till then. Yeah, I feel like God was like, okay, this race is going to get boring, so let's just do some Joel with Max's left front tire, and he had a 11-second pit stop, which actually made the race quite interesting. Like some nice uh, to and fro between Max and Charles, and then again some to and fro between Lewis and Max, which was nice to watch. Max Verstappen definitely deserving of the championship.
I think somewhere Max feels that he's playing the F1 game because he can go for a pit stop, right? And he can have a 16-second pit stop and still come and win the game. And probably he can even spin a car in the middle of the race, right? And he can go 360 and everyone can go and again he can come back and win. Or he can probably win from somewhere back of the field. So he's pretty much been able to do every single thing,
Yeah, and
right?
you remember
But
that part where he had that 16-second stop, and he's like, "Beautiful, mate, fucking beautiful," and all that he said. And but his engineer's reaction was so amazing. He was like, "Max, put your head down. We are in this together." And Max is like, "Yeah, yeah, I know this." But then the way, like Max's engineer knows to say the exact right thing at the right time. Yeah, even so is Checo's engineer, very to the point, and they kind of tell them what to do exactly at that moment.
But I think it was such a one way, it was such a good race, right? Because right at the front, we kind of understood what a three-way battle could possibly look like, right? Because Charles being there, Max being there, and then Hamilton being there, right? It was so close. Just probably if their cars were way better or they were probably just behind Red Bull, I think the fight would have been just simply superb and insane.
Yeah,
But what a fight in the front. We actually felt, I don't know if anyone who was a non-Hamilton fan also probably would have thought like, dude, like, please, some different person come to the podium, right? And probably with Hamilton having the record of having won at least one race every single season, right? From when he's come to the Formula One.
yeah,
Uh, we just wanted him to keep it, but I don't think this season is meant to be. And probably Verstappen would easily break the record of the most wins in a season. 100% sure on
yeah,
that. But yeah, a lot of eventful race. Just one driver from each of the teams actually performed, and I think the rest of the rest of the second drivers didn't really live up to their
yeah,
expectations.
absolutely. And I feel like the battle in the front was much more close in the beginning of the season, when the cars were almost in par with each other. But as the season progressed, we saw that, Red Bull got a little more dominant, and Ferrari was behind, and Mercedes close behind Ferrari. So I feel like what we saw in Bahrain and Jeddah, especially, the to and fro between Max and Charles, I think it was probably one of the best we ever saw in the sport, right? So yeah, there is something that Red Bull is doing right at this moment. And speaking of Red Bull and Ferrari, let's talk about the second drivers. What do you think is the fate of the second drivers of each of the teams?
I think the second drivers are pretty much second drivers. I don't think they're going to be first drivers anytime. At least one second driver was taken out by George Russell, the Mr. Sunday. But that was such a class. I think he was in the cool down room, and then I think Hamilton was asked what happened to like Carlos.
Yeah, Charles
Then he
asked
was,
him.
yeah, and then he just said George took him out.
And the best part was that he actually took some time to articulate his sentence. And he's like, What happened to Carlos?" He's like adjusting his cap, and George took him out.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
For fans, I think irrespective of how you think, I think anyone going out, for some reason, it's an excitement for fans because that's when the safety car comes and that's when things get shuffled around.
Yeah, I think George Russell is kind of earning this reputation, which isn't good for him. Although, like at one hand, he is known as Mr. Consistency. On the other hand, he's the guy who's crashing into so many people. He has crashed into Joe. He almost like screwed his life at Silverstone, and then he crashed into Mick, and then Valtteri. Valtteri was last season, of course, at Imola, and a lot of other guys, right? And which is not turning out to be great for him. So wait until he crashes with someone like someone probably Lewis or even Max. Then you'll realize, our man has like really stamped his reputation in the minds of F1 fans. No denying his talent, but this is what is happening. And Carlos, what a bad luck for him again. Sixth DNF this season, two in gravel, two fires, and two crashes. Like, wow.
But I think someone who's had an amazing late half of the season, and I want to ask you this question, right? And I know you're a very, very, very ardent fan of him. Do you think Vettel would rethink his retirement, right? Because he's just been performing at some other level with a stupid car, right? Do you think that can ever happen, and then we can see him probably in Audi or something? I don't know. I'm just asking. What do you think?
It's highly possible because his idol was Schumacher, and Schumacher made a return. He just couldn't stay off track, and he came back. So I'm pretty sure Seb can come back. I won't say he'll 100% come back, but it looks like a 80% right now that if not next year, pretty much he might not return, but 2024, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen uh, in 2023. How Perez will be performing, how Sonoda will be performing. A lot of things will change, and like a lot of contracts will be getting over also, right? In 23. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Who will he come back? Will Ricardo come back? You never know, you know. So
Yep.
Ricardo looks doubtful looking at his
Yep.
performance right now. But Seb, wow, he has not lost his magic. So what we saw in Japan and US, the last moment, the fighting till the finish line. I mean, wow.
What do you feel about the trio, the super midfield trio of Vettel, Alonso, and Norris?
I mean, two legends and one going to be legend. It's like that. I mean, Norris, what a guy. The way he was zooming past field. I mean, the broadcast didn't show much of Norris, but with that broken, what is that, tire shield? I don't know how was he going. I actually got scared that, like once McLaren posted the picture of Lando's car afterwards, like imagine Haas will protest. This guy is going around around the circuit in his broken this thing, and you're not fighting him. So anyway,
Oh
but
God.
but mega drive from Lando again. Like there were not just one driver of the day. There were multiple. It's just that Seb was like class apart. But if you look at the way Lando drove, the way Max drove, or even Hamilton, or even Charles,
Or
from
Alonso.
or Alonso, especially Alonso. I mean, from somewhere to somewhere he has gone. Even Charles, the way he overtook people, especially that overtake on Perez. I feel like it was kind of poetic because last two races Perez has been in front of him, and he's not able to overtake Perez. So it was nice seeing that super brave overtake from him.
Like we mentioned, right? There was something of uh, everything pretty much in this race, right? There was a bit of late pit stops. Vettel was actually had a very
Yeah,
late pit
that was too
stop.
sad.
Yeah, but despite being in that late pit stop and having a stupid car like Aston Martin, he still like marched on, right? There was such a strong midfield battle, right? With all of these three legends in the midfield. there was a battle with interesting battle going on in front, right? So it was almost like front, and there were some extra second drivers of the top teams, and then there was a there was a midfield superstars, and then the rest of the field, right? And then obviously there was a whole lot which was DNF, right? Gotifi again proved to be the goat. He randomly went and crashed somewhere, then he got 5-second penalty, all of that shit he did. But yeah, there were some screw ups. I think fans importantly, 4.4 million fans, right? 400,000, 440,000 fans. It's not a joke. It can be called the Netflix effect, especially in the US, right? People just turned up. Some of our friends also went to the race, and apparently it was such a good experience. But yeah, amazing. I think it's Formula One's probably going leaps and bounds, right? But amazing race. Anything that you were really caught off guard in the race, anything that surprised you, right? Or anything that actually said, woke you up from your slumber and said, hey, look what's happening.
I mean, a lot of things happened like that, especially the overtakes and the way Hamilton was going. Excellent strategies from Team Mercedes. And the way Hamilton was going, for a moment, we thought, oh my God, this guy is going to probably going to, finish ahead of the pack and might get his first win of the season. But that was just not the case. And I feel like, I mean, there were a lot of, oohs and ahs throughout the race, and especially the end between K-Mag and Vettel. I feel like it just, it was like a crescendo that ended the race on a high. And thank God the broadcast showed that this time. Last time they missed it for Alonso and Vettel, which was really sad because that was like a photo finish, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of things that happened were nice in the race. What about you? Like, what was there anything that caught you off guard?
No, I think one specific thing that caught me off guard was the way Alonso, he was literally out.
Yeah.
He was literally out. He had that moment where we thought, done, his race is done. He came last, and then from there actually pushed to seventh, right? And that's a different story, that what the FI did later, and we'll come to that. But what a guy! Like, people like Ricardo are there with a good car struggling and probably just being last. And the legend crashes the car, and he's like, fine, let me just go back in the Formula One game. I'll just try to again push from the last and see where I can go.
I don't
Right? And
understand.
that was
Yeah,
surprising.
I don't understand how Alonso had such a damage to his car. Even his right mirror also broke off, right? Uh,
Yep.
Despite having such damage, he still finished the race. Whereas
Yep.
Carlos, his car had just like, one shunt from George Russell. And by the time, the broadcasters showed Carlos next, the Ferrari mechanics were already like putting his car inside. He's like, come, bro, let's go for a pizza. Like, what is up? I don't get it.
I think only the legend Alonso can do that. I remember even in Drive to Survive, I think that was the first season, and I think it was probably 2017, right?
2018.
Where he actually, yeah, where he actually pulled that car, which was literally like on three wheels,
Yeah.
literally got it back, and then he went. I think
Baku.
it just talks more, yeah, it just talks legends about the guy, right? Who's made unfortunate decisions, and I don't know if Aston Martin is going to really help him out in any way. But it talks about the sheer amount of push that he can give, right? And obviously the car is strong. It's If the car wasn't strong, obviously he couldn't have
Yeah.
done that. But yeah, I think it surprised us all, and hopefully continue to surprise us, even in the other races, right? But someone who's never failed to surprise us is the FIA. And I'll just give you three decisions, right? And probably, yeah, I think probably two, and then you could probably give your ideas or thoughts on it, right? First is tractor. Second is Alonso getting his penalty post the race, right? For a orange flag not being given inside the race. And third is the whole cost cap saga. What do you think when all of these three things come together? As a simple fan or as a lover of the sport, where do you think this is going?
I think FIA is indecisive and FIA is inconsistent and it is partial. It is not impartial. Is basically. I feel like uh different punishments are given to different people because Alonso got a 30-second penalty, which is equal to like a 10-second stop go penalty in a race, which is ridiculous and very stupid to give him that like post race, and they've not even waved the meatball flag during the race, which is very, 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 very you know inconsistent and unpredictable decision making. And also, Russell and Perez also had damage to their cars, right? Why did they get a meatball flag? I mean, why did only this guy had to get? Even K Mag has got meatball flag in every possible race. I think he loves. He's not a vegan at all. I think maybe he loves meatballs like crazy. Like imagine like Lewis will get a meatball flag. He's like, guys, I'm a vegan. But then, yeah, I mean, like, why the inconsistency? And even about somebody being very close to the safety car, etc. I mean, if one person is given a penalty for the same thing, so should the other person be, and the decision needs to be immediate on the track itself. Why make decisions like several hours after the race, etc.? So this doesn't make sense to me at all. And talking about tractor, extremely unsafe stuff, especially in such foggy conditions. It was very stupid thing, and Gasly went nuts. And it happened in Kota also. It's just that there was visibility, so drivers were able to see, but then the tractor was still there. That
I think you had told me that, or were the commentators actually saying that couple of drivers actually passed the tractor one or two times. People like Alonso, and they didn't notice that there was a tractor
Yeah,
itself.
it was a good race for fans, I would say, but FIA has been super inconsistent, and people thought that without Michael Masi, FIA is going to blossom and stuff like that. And now I think we all miss him. I do for some reason. Although his decision was a very catastrophic one last year in Abu Dhabi, but um, he kind of made sense in the beginning of the season. What do you think? Should we get back Michael Masi?
Yeah, I think unpopular opinion, Michael Masi should be brought back, right?
Reinstate Michael
For
Masi.
but for all the shit that is done, right? I think at least his decisions, apart from the last race, are more or less consistent, right? And I think there was a good working relationship between him and all of the teams, right? Irrespective of what the teams were, he at least had some bit of sense. But to actually just chuck him out like that, which was right, but to get two inconsistent people when they were rotating, I think initially they started rotating this race director role, and now I think it's pretty much fixed for the rest of the season. But it's been so inconsistent. The way FIA itself is dealing with a lot of stuff is so inconsistent, right? It's such a shame. We're again talking about the cost cap because apparently Red Bull has breached it, and they were actually trying to work out like a solution, like come to an agreement of what the penalty could be, and then everyone has a view of it, right? Zach Brown has a view of it, saying, guys, they should be fined for how much ever it is, right? And then this wind tunnel time should be
Yeah, I think
reduced, right?
meatball
uh
flags are not a problem for Red Bull, but meatballs are because catering.
catering.
So
And then, yeah, and then you have people like Horner giving ridiculous statements, like using me-
yeah,
using mental health to the next level.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there might be instances where some mechanics' sons or daughters in the school might have been called as your dad is a cheater and stuff like that, and which is not fair, right? Even people who are shouting at Max and Perez at the end of not at the end of before quota, cheater. What are you doing, guys? I mean, like, what? As if Verstappen went and he put his pocket money and he's like, hey, make this aerodynamics better and stuff like that. I mean, come on, guys. He's doing his best. They're
Uh,
doing their best. That was
yep.
so stupid of the some of those US fans. But yeah, Horner's speaking about mental health, he might be right. I'm not like criticizing him, but genuinely seemed like an excuse at that point, like very lame
Yeah.
excuse. Yes, sorry, Mr. Horner, but that's how it is. But I feel like Kota, this particular race, Texas Austin, is like the best race of US
Yep.
because all others are like crap. All others means only Miami right now, and I'm not. For some reason, Danny Rick was quite excited about
Vegas.
Vegas, but I certainly am not, and I feel like it is going to be a bummer because so much hype and yay, whoa, and all, but it's going to be crap in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be some lot of celebrities into 5x of celebrities what we had in Kota coming, and there'll just be a lot of, and I think somewhere, right, and I don't know, I have this weird view, right, that slowly FIA, they're trying to milk this whole sensation that's happening, and slowly we are moving away from the sport, right? Multiple things, if you see the number of races, it's going beyond where it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
uh, if you see the decision making, it's purely inconsistent, right? uh, Whatever good was supposed to be happening, right, is something that's happening exactly the opposite, or it's not generally favorable, right? Apart from that, you can see everything else happening, right? You have FIA marketing it, more number of races you want, right, so that all are like, you can just milk this whole sensation, and then you are allowing all celebrities on track, and I don't know why, and I swear I had this thought the other day in my mind that one second, we should actually pick fans and actually get them, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of these celebrities, obviously it's for some star power and stuff like that, right? But a sport is genuinely owned by fans, right? If tomorrow fans don't see, what will the celebrities come and do on the grid walks? You should actually have things where fans are becoming closer, right? And the ticket prices are exorbitant. I've heard that, right, from my friends also, and that's something I've seen also, right? And apparently the one that we were speaking last time, Monaco ticket prices also are up. Where is the sport actually going, right? We're actually moving away from fans. We're just getting in all glamour, right? And at the end of the day, we're just forgetting that it's sport at the heart of it, right? I think that somewhere, will it be too late, right, before they realize where they've actually gone, or will they course correct in the middle? We don't know, but actually I just hope that they go course correct it, right, much before it's super late.
I could
What are
not
your
agree
thoughts?
more to what you just said because yeah, drivers are heart of uh, the whole show. But then, what would they be without the fans, right? So I feel like Drive to Survive has done an incredible marketing of the sport, but somewhere the purity of racing is being diluted because of all this marketing, all this propaganda, and I feel like the drivers are the ones who are when they're driving a car, they don't have any other thought and they're just giving their best, right? And so are fans. They're supporting with all their heart. But whereas FIA in their decision making, it looks like they're not being pure to the sport at this moment. They're thinking of so many other things, of consequences of one particular decision, etc. And not being absolute to it, not being objective about it. So somewhere that is diluting the beauty of the sport, I feel like. And all these fan rivalries and the fights and all those things will keep happening. But if the sport itself doesn't show transparency, then what do we rely on at the end of the day? I mean, how much would drivers carry off the show if the rules of the game itself are kind of skewed, right? So I absolutely agree with you. I mean, fine, celebrities and all are coming, but enough of them. I mean, just look at your comments. None of them want enough. Fine, okay. Brad Pitt came. He's making a movie. He's going to different paddocks. Fine, but there is a limit. I feel like, yeah, let them just enjoy in the the luxury VIP paddock and all that they're there. So, like, let them enjoy their. Let them meet drivers later. Why inside the paddock? Probably it's a marketing for them, but it kind of removes the purity out of it. I feel like wherever money is involved, it's always like that, right? I mean, even in friendships, even in relations where there is money involved, it kind of soils the relationship, soils the purity of that particular thing.
Yeah, I think totally I agree. But what do you think? What's going to happen in the next race? Mexico.
Oh,
What are you looking forward to? I mean, we're almost at the fag end of racing this year. Any specific thing that you want, your wish list that you have not ticked all of the season? Do you want something to happen in the next two races, right? Three
three
races.
races. We have
Yeah.
Mexico, then Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. So I feel like one bold prediction about Abu Dhabi is that Lewis will win for the first time and he'll beat Max. Okay, I'll keep dreaming. But a bold prediction would be that Max Verstappen is going to finish this year with 14 wins and not 16 wins, because I feel like he has had too much good luck lately. So, I mean, I'm not like cursing him or anything, but it is sometimes unlikely that it would happen. And
Yep.
I feel like we would see one driver apart from Ferrari or Red Bull, take a win. That is my boldest prediction right now.
You mean to say Mercedes also?
No, not Mercedes also. I'm saying as of now, the wins have only been of Ferrari and Red Bull. Verstappen has won
Yep.
13, Leclerc has won 3, Perez has won 2, and Sainz has won 1. That's it. So we have total 6 plus 30, 19 races, 19 wins by these folks. So I feel like we are going to see one, you know, outlier. I don't know who it is. It could be anyone. It could be, Lando. It could be Vettel, or it could be Latifi. But I feel like we are going to see someone.
Fair enough. At least I want, if not anyone, I just want Hamilton probably to win at Brazil. And I think the rest of the two races would pretty much be Verstappen only. So 15 to Verstappen. And then I think he'll sail through and probably Hamilton could just win Brazil. And I think I'm sure he'll be happy with that. But I think everything else is closed, right? Red Bull is done, constructors, world driver champion is crowned, right? In an unfortunate way. Yeah, but I think we've ticked everything pretty much. Probably the driver lineup. That's something that we have to watch out for. Logan Sargent, they said that he's going to try for Williams
Yeah,
if he gets a super license. Uh, I think rest of the seats are filled, right? Everything. Nick De Vries was there. Nick De Vries is announced in Japan. We spoke about it, right? Nick De Vries is announced in Japan, and then one more important announcement was Gasly actually moving to Alpine, which is amazing. Only Haas seat is a question
make
mark
make
as of
make
today.
Schumacher. We are waiting for you, bro. Do some magic.
But talking about Mick Schumacher, apparently just today, Audi announced that 2026 they'll Sauber or Alfa Romeo will be competing under the name of Audi and as an Audi factory team. And apparently they've been in talks with Mick Schumacher for 2026. They want to obviously field Audi being a German company. They want to field Mick Schumacher. But I feel that there'll be a dream
Seb
team
and
if
Mick come together.
Vettel
Yes.
may come together. Yeah. It'll be an all German team with best friends. And I think, I somehow think, and I'm going to put my money on that today, that it's going to happen. They're going to ask Seb out of retirement, and Seb would just come to his Instagram and it'll be inactive for
Yeah,
some
and
10
this time it'll be a
some two
color
years, and he'll come
video
and say,
instead of a black and white video. Like, I have decided to unretire, and people go
yeah.
crazy. Like, whoa.
Yeah, but I think it more likely be science. Apparently, there is a talk, and I think Daniel might go to Ferrari and end his career there, is what I feel.
Whoa, that is like the boldest prediction I've ever heard. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo.
But as a second driver, he'll go.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a dream come true to see Ricardo in red, right? I mean, like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that'll be amazing. But for now, we love our Tifosi boys. So, do well, boys. And yeah, I mean, what a sport it is, keeping us engaged like that. The whole year has gone by. I can't believe we have witnessed 19 races so far. There are only three
Yep.
remaining. That Pablo Escobar's meme comes to my mind, where he's sitting on that swing, or he's like just hands behind, he's looking in the distance, like, oh my god, he's just waiting, waiting, waiting when 2023 season will start. So yeah, that's going to be all of us
Yeah.
shortly. Man, that is going to be crazy. But yeah, three more races. I hope we get to see the best.
I mean, I'm just probably just wishing that everything goes well. We get some action. The Formula One fan in both of us, there's some action in the
Yeah,
next three races, some weird action, something that pushes us off the seat, something that allows us to take things and throw it and break stuff, right?
something that
S-
allows Netflix to rub its hand like so much that there is a fire. And but
Is that going to be the cost cap result? We don't know.
we don't know. But storm is coming.
It's all up there. Three more races, and I think we'll keep getting this stuff for the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
Uh, and then a whole lot of reels.
Oh
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be fun, guys. That was today's episode. Love you all, guys. Please subscribe. Please share it with people, because we are putting our heart and soul into this podcast. Yeah, it's a podcast by fans for fans.